thank you for coming. It is just a special honor to have you all here today with us. And it's funny, when I speak to people, when I invited them to this party, the first thing that they said was, this is a party about soccer? I said, yes, it's a party about soccer. And they say, well, how do I dress? Or, what do I do? Do I buy a table? Do I, just come in, walk in? It's amazing how a single sport, or just a single ball, can bring so many different people together and can do so much for a community like Mineola. 75 years ago, this community was brought together and formed the first team, the first Portuguese team on the mountain. Amazing. And it gives you goosebumps when you take a look at pictures like this one up here from 1954, the first championship team that Mineola had, Mineola Portuguese. It's unbelievable if you've been in this community and you know about soccer, and you know when you come to this club in the lounge downstairs on a Sunday and you watch whatever game it may be. It could even be two bottom-of-the-table teams playing, and it is just packed with passionate people going for their regional team. And they will argue, some people have said that 90 minutes of soccer is like 50 years of marriage, all condensed into one. And you have doctors, you have lawyers, you have construction workers, you have custodians, all together cheering or jeering against the team. And at the end of the day, when the referee blows his whistle, it's incredible that all that emotion finally gets settled down, everybody calms down and agrees that Benfica is probably the best team. Right? Benfica?
Yeah.
Alright. I guess we have more Portistas in here. When we first put this thing together, see what I meant? When we first put this thing together about 4 years ago, Marco revived the spirit of this community that had in soccer. We've had many soccer teams throughout the years, and they've come and they've gone and they've come back again. And this team was really pretty much after the Carlos Mendez era. We had a few teams, but nothing really stuck until Marco, who's a second-generation player or participant in this team. His father ran a very successful team. Jack, just give everybody a wave there. Jack brought back 2 state cup trophies, and of the 3 total that we have. So that's 66% of our state championships Jack helped bring back to this club. So thank you, Jack, for everything. And it's almost nostalgic that his son would be the one to come back and say, listen, we're going to bring this back. We're going to do the work here. We're going to get the players together just like we had 75 years ago. We're going to make them play, and we're going to start winning championships again. When we started, we also started a historical program, trying to get the old players, get their testimonies back, get stories, war stories from second, third generation players about their fathers and their forefathers who played for this club. And we've been recording most of that throughout the year. And we've found some incredible things and I'm going to share with you 2 specific stories about 2 players who saw our website and decided to reach out to us and tell us about their history with the club. And I'm going to start with a man whose father is very known in the league, Fred Edwards Jr., the son of, obviously, Fred Edwards, who was one of the founders of the league back in 1948, if I'm not mistaken, boys? 1948. His son played on the Grumman team, for those of us old enough to remember what Grumman was before it was an abandoned warehouse out in Bethpage. He wrote me an article, he wrote me a nice little letter, and I'm going to read portions of it to you, just so you guys can understand how much this team actually meant to not only the Portuguese, but to all soccer fans in the community. Mr. Marques, I saw your website, and I want to thank you for recording this information and putting it out to the public. I played against you guys in the early 1940s and 50s with the old Grumman team. It was always fun playing against the likes of the Sinclair brothers and Dr. Cesar de Rostang. I specifically remember Dr. Rostang because he was a professional. He played in the American Soccer League, and it always showed when he played against us. I remember Big Frank, a fullback, though memory of his last name fades, but I always remember the bumps he gave me in the box that the ref never called. I also remember the great Johnny Pereira. Now, for those of you who don't know, John Pineda was probably the greatest president we've ever had at this club. And if you take a look over here, he was president for a long time, but before that he played and he was captain. And here he is accepting this same trophy, which thanks to the Long Island Soccer Football League, we were able to bring back after 56 years, the last time it was in this house. Johnny Pineda, he was involved in the league. He was actually in the New York State Hall of Fame, and he's our only current member in there. The second division trophy is currently named after him, and that's probably the greatest honor that we have from Johnny. And we were able to win that a couple of years after he passed away, and that was very emotional for this club. Back to the letter. When we played, it was always interesting because two players from Grumman had a band with two players from Mineola. And every time we played, whether it be at the Grumman field or here in Mineola, at halftime, they would play us a concert. It was always interesting. I would have loved to say that I loved playing with you guys, but in reality, I loved losing to you guys. In 10 years of playing against you, we never won. And consequently, we always lost by 1 goal. Cesar de Rostang, the professional, would run circles around us. Consequently, again, we always lost by 1 goal. And it was always a goal he scored. I remember him specifically because he wore gloves. He was a plastic surgeon, and he worked during the week. I have wonderful memories of your club, and I am very proud that you will be able to celebrate your 75th anniversary this year. One last bit of information I would like you to know. One day, after a game, we came to the club to have beers. There, I met my wife, or girlfriend at the time. And in honor of this team and what this team did against him, we got married in this very same hall in 1958. So I thank Mr. Edwards and his family for all the memories that they're sharing with us. And perhaps this one will be a lot shorter, but perhaps one of the funniest that I've got, and one of the most touching at the same time. I got an email from a man who all I knew was his last name that was on that picture back there. He wrote us an email saying, "Mr. Marques, the other day I decided to Google my name and see what came up. The first thing that came up was the Mineola Portuguese website and that picture. I never played soccer. I never even lived on Long Island. But when I looked at the picture, I saw that it was of my father." Now, he said, "I know my father played soccer, but he never really talked much about it." He decided to call his mother, who's about 85 years old, lives in Pennsylvania, and inquire about the stories that his father had playing with this club. What ended up happening is that he found out a lot more than probably he ever knew when his father was still alive. His father passed away in 1998, but before he did, he gave him a small little plaque that had inside the frame a medal. Now, he never understood what the medal was, but on his father's deathbed, he said that he gave him this medal, said it was one of his most honored gifts, and for him to keep it. Now, he has kept it, and he passed it down to his daughter, who now plays in Pennsylvania. She plays soccer. She's about 8 years old. When he saw our website, he noticed the league logo, and he noticed that the medal had the league logos on it. He decided to open it for the first time in 10 years since his father passed away, 12 years. It was the original medal from this original championship team. And he told me that he started crying when he saw it. He never understood how much his father was Dutch. They weren't Portuguese at all. But the emotion that his father said, that his father had for soccer, his mother told him, it came from this very club. So I thank Mr. Ploger for sharing his memories also. And I hope those two stories give you a heck of an idea of how this is not just about soccer. This is not just about a ball. Marco, would you like to join me up here? Oh, you're not speaking, don't worry. Now, Marco is a little scared, but he's not going to be talking now. He's going to be talking much later. But I wanted to invite him up here because when we started this historical restoration, we decided to make a Hall of Fame. And we decided to ask people who they thought were the best players, or the best people, the humanitarians, the managers, who really put their heart and soul out into this club. And we formed the Hall of Fame, and for the last 3 years, we've been admitting people once in a while. And as the commissioner of the Hall of Fame, I made the one rule that you can't be in the Hall of Fame so long as you play. If you don't play or you don't manage, you're allowed to be in the Hall of Fame, and that was the only rule I had. Well, I'm about to break that tonight. Because of the service that this young gentleman has done to this community, by bringing this team back and fighting with it, I would like, Marco, to honor you as the only member to ever be inducted into the Hall of Fame as an active player. So Marco, congratulations. No, he's going to speak later, don't worry. And I leave you with this final thought. And this is a promise to everyone, to the community, to those that came before us, to those that come at the 175th anniversary. And I hope it gets that far. We promise that that spark, which ignited the passion that this community has for soccer, that spark that Johnny Pereira founded back in the 1950s, and that Baltazar, the first president of this club, ignited. I promise all of you, as do our managers and as our players, that that flame will burn as bright and as brilliant for years to come as it does right now in the eyes and in the hearts of all of you here tonight sharing this with us. So with that, thank you very much.